Welcome to the Life on Your Terms podcast with me, your host, Tracy Liv Howard. My intention is that each episode helps you remember who you are and serves to inspire and support you to reach your most important goals and live life on your terms. Let's get into today's episode. In this episode, I'm going to talk about how wholeness is the new happiness and how most people are now pursuing wholeness in their work and in their life. And I'll be incorporating a passage from Deepak Chopra's book, MetaHuman, related to wholeness in hopes to expand your understanding and awareness of this important topic in your life. All right, so I'm reading MetaHuman by Deepak Chopra, and I'm getting a lot of insights from him. And so I want to read this passage, which gave me a huge breakthrough related to this concept of wholeness. And here it is. Deepak said, we have these parts that were set up to help us manage our life, one piece at a time. You go to college for your mind, to the gym for your body, on a date to establish a relationship, to work to bring home money. From a metahuman standpoint, any division of life into bits and pieces only supports the illusion. Wholeness is wholeness, not a collection of parts. And I read that and had a huge breakthrough. Wholeness is wholeness, not a collection of parts. I knew very young that my whole day was whole. And I wanted to seamlessly move through my morning to being at work, to exercising and being with friends, that they weren't these separate parts of my life or separate parts of even my day, but they were my day. They were the whole of me. And I didn't want to compartmentalize my work, like it's time to go to work now and then be at work. And then, okay, it's time for the gym now, be at the gym. You know, we get into this illusion or trap that our life is these boxes. And no wonder people honestly aren't happy, because that's not where happiness is when we do our checklist of 7 things we need to do today. We get to the end of the day. We've done everything that we had wanted to do, but somehow something feels off, doesn't it? Like we've done the gym, we've done work, we've done our kids, but we don't feel whole. It's what's missing is this breaking down of those compartments and those walls to allow your day and allow yourself to be whole within that day. And in my last podcast episode, I talked about how you and I have a desire to be real. And I believe it's actually because we desire to be whole. So being real is extremely important to allowing ourselves to step into being whole. And Deepak talks about how we can have a splintered personality or a splintered self, and that we have a lot of separate parts about us that doesn't feel integrated into the whole of who we really are. And I believe this is a big crisis for most people right now, not only not really being real, but then also not feeling whole. And, for me, I want to share an example. When I was a little girl, I danced a lot. I did ballet. I did a year of pointe. I was in the Nutcracker. I was a little mouse. I was very young, but I loved dancing. I loved tap. And I just danced my whole childhood. I loved going out dancing with my girlfriends in high school and in college. I just loved live music and getting exhausted by dancing. But then as I got a bit older, like in my late 20s, early 30s, that kind of stopped. Life got in the way. There was almost, no space for dancing. And maybe that's not appropriate right now as I'm getting older. I had these, self-imposed limiting beliefs about, I can't go out dancing anymore. But that made me really sad to relegate that part of me into the basement, to splinter off a part of myself that had been just part of my real me, my whole life. And then one day look around and realize I haven't gone out dancing or to a live concert in years. And so I'm living in the Caribbean, and I was invited out with a girl to go dancing on the beach by the ocean. And there was a live band. I mean, I'm telling you, it was amazing. A live band playing music. I'm dancing under the stars next to the ocean. And then the DJ comes on. And honestly, this guy's playing like 50 Cent and all my hits from college. And I'm just letting go and dancing. And I felt so alive in that moment because the part that had splintered off and I'd kind of put aside was coming back into my state of being. And in that moment, I felt completely whole, that experience brought that in. And I'm convinced that people aren't pursuing happiness. They're pursuing being whole, having a whole life. This is my theme of the podcast, a whole life on your terms. That there are seasons for life. There's a time for everything, but we could still have a whole life on our terms in this exact moment as our life is. And that wholeness is actually going to be the catalyst for everything that we're wanting to create, become, do, experience, and have. And where you can start is to start to see your day as a whole one day. This just one fluid, whole experience of what we call your life. That when you're in work, your work is part of this whole. That you're exercising at the gym, it's the whole of you. Your time with your kids is the whole of your life. It's the whole of you. And bring all that wholeness into your body and your energy and into your awareness. I swear that entrepreneurship is what got me to become aware of my whole life for the first time in a way I can't even describe. How I moved to London and my day was mine. You know, when I talk about how true freedom is autonomy of your time and doing what is important for you, I had this whole day open. So I would fluidly go between coaching and working in my business to jumping out for a run in Regent's Park, to hopping over to the cafe and meeting a friend, to going to a networking event at night or going out to dinner with my husband. And it was just this whole experience. I started to be whole Tracy, saying yes to this whole life as it is unfolding. And entrepreneurship was a vehicle for that because it disrupted a lot of illusions or barriers that often a lot of people experience, where they feel stuck, that they feel this way, they have to splinter themselves because they only have a certain amount of time to do certain things because they've got to get to the next appointment or to the next pickup. And we find ourselves running around in our life disconnected that also this is our life. And we can choose to look at it from a different perspective and still live the same life, but look at it with new eyes. And so I'm going to invite you today to look at your life from a place of wholeness. You know, stretch your mind to see everything connected. How that in this present moment right now, this is wholeness, and your wholeness is going to lead you, and that connection in present time is going to lead you to living on your terms. Wholeness is the way. So thank you for listening today. I hope this has inspired you to just take a deep breath. Everything's whole already. Nothing is separate. It's all connected. And once that clicks in for you, I'm so excited to know what you do with it. A big thank you for listening to this episode. I truly hope you got what you needed. If you want to get more from me each week, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes or bonus content. To be notified of new episodes, workshop opportunities, and more, subscribe to my email list by heading to the link in this episode description. I'm wishing you joy, happiness, and love.